Mr. Hyde rearing his ugly bisexual head. That was a short phase.
What? No, he's joking. What? He's bisexual?
One eternity later.
Oh my God. My wife is leaving me. Change her mind. Oh my God, that's devastating.
With a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since
He's a divorced dad.
I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, there is no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side. And no, this was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted. It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life, what I consider to be my deepest personal failure. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible, and I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible. But in today's legal system, my beliefs don't matter. In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it, period. So for well over a year, in the best interest as well as physical safety of my children, we've decided to keep this issue private and to resolve it privately with the appropriate attorneys, what have you, legal jargon. And all this, one thing I want to be really clear about is certain. True north here is that my children are blameless, completely without fault, and so we decided to resolve these issues privately, as it's in their best interests, both emotionally and physically, to do so. Now, the other issue is, and this is something that I've kept private for likely far too long, many other people knew about this behind the scenes. Some, not all, but some of them in positions of power, influence, leverage, knew of this. They also knew that the safety of my children included keeping it private. So if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well. Now, some of these threats were so thinly veiled that I'm frankly surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Stephen has a lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. You know, Stephen purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
Well, my children have a right to privacy. Now, some other issues have been, or I should say, inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats to use this information that they believe would be so publicly embarrassing to me and my wife at a difficult time that it could be used, knowingly putting my children in harm's way. So to those self-styled Christians, conservatives, and allies, well, not in my book. Now, if you find yourself, I don't want to get into details, so this is going to likely be the only time I have to address this or want to address this. If you're asking yourself, hey, did X person or did Y person know? The answer is likely yes.
Wow, it's really up that Candace Owens is using Steven Crowder's divorce as a way to like extort him. What I find really weird about this process is that he basically implied in the beginning here that divorce should be considered like illegal in Texas. Let's run that back.
My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted. It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life.
Oh, yeah, it's just completely permitted in the state of Texas. Like, what the do you mean, dog? You want it to be like what, enforced at gunpoint? It's so crazy. It's actually insane that like he implies that, dude. Like, what the oh no, math jokes, pentagon, hexagon, octagon. My wife is gone. Oh no. Oh no. I have to pee so bad. He expressed frustration that even if only she wanted the divorce, it can still go through. That's actually so gross. Yeah, I mean, he just literally thinks like, oh, the old ball and chain, right? Am I right? As in like literally.
Meanwhile,
Steven Crowder was emotionally abusing his wife, and in a statement, Hilary Crowder's family says she hid his emotionally abusive behavior for years, to a surprise to pretty much no one.
I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary of abusive and cruel. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There's no groceries. I'd be happy.
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hilary, how do you respect the man? Yes, how does a man respect? How does a man receive love and respect?
respect.
The other man you see, the mother comes back. Wait, what?
How did the man No, you're not taking the car.
Steven,
You're not taking the car.
Steven,
You are not
then
taking
I
the
will
car.
ask them to do that.
This is awful. But, you know, the least surprising thing I've seen today, what is actually surprising is that Steven Crowder has one car only. What the bitch, buy a second car. You have a wife who's pregnant. How do you not have, why do you have control over the family car? All you're doing is smoking a cigar in your backyard. That's so weird.
Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not correct, Steven.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Steven, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Steven.
Like, I can't
Steven.
go. Listen to me. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen. The only way out of this is discipline and respect.
What
the
the
only way out of it, we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline and respect.
Steven.
Yeah. There you go. You throw your hand. You give up so easily.
I don't give up, Steven.
Hilary,
Steven.
you give up so easily. I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space.
Hilary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything.
What do you mean put on some gloves? What is he trying to box her? Like, what the happening, dude? This is so crazy. Like, why can't I ball and chain my goddamn wife?
What I consider to be,
As
my children have a right to privacy. Now, some other issues have been, or I should.
Pretty funny, yeah. Steven Crowder stating over and over again that he's mad that his wife isn't legally obligated to stay with him is so funny. Glad Crowder clarified several times that the divorce wasn't his kid's fault. Everyone watching was thinking, I bet this is Steven Crowder's kid's fault. Unfortunately, the law doesn't let me force my wife to stay with me. Freak of nature shit. Not even, because that's what he believes.
My wife and allies, well, not in my book. Now, if you find yourself, I don't want to get into details, so this is going to likely be the only time I have to address this or want to address this. If you're asking yourself, hey, did X person or did Y person know? The answer is likely yes, which will be made alarmingly clear as this process of discovery continues. And it also, by the way, makes me that much more appreciative of those who did know about this and in understanding the best interests of my family, my children, kept their word and used discretion. I can't thank you enough. Sincerely, I appreciate it. Won't forget it. It's pretty simple. I loved a woman so much that I married her. A woman who, despite all of this, I still love as the mother of my children. And she wanted something else for her life. That's not my choice. She simply wanted out.
Yeah, I
And the
wonder.
law-
Yeah, I mean, she probably did not like being married, being forced into like a legally binding contract with a dude who has like a lot of confusion about his own sexuality.
I'm afraid, frankly, that he used to have a bad temper. I'm afraid of it coming back. Afraid of Mr. Hyde rearing his ugly bisexual head. That was a short phase. No, I'm afraid. Afraid of getting angry. Afraid of being.
What? No, he's joking. He's just joking. There's no way. What? He's bisexual? Like he slipped that in?
Change! To change! Woo! All right, there you go. Can you hold on? Let's get, okay. Hold on to your pussy.
I would love to hear from her.
Says that that's how it works. Now, of course, look, I get it. There are multiple sides to every story, but one thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own in that I picked wrong, and that's certainly not the fault of my children. And I will say that what's in the best interest of my children is not internet drama, speculation, certainly not blatant or veiled shakedowns or dragging their father or mother.
Bro, the way he's talking about this marriage is so funny. Like he said, he picked wrong. Like marriage is supposed to be about picking a person with like who will stay with you regardless of how awful you are.
I'm not a rapist. I never forced myself on her.
Stop.
I promised I would set her free just as soon as she gave me a child. Now she's gone.
You can't do this to me.
There's nothing a man cannot do.
No! No!
Like, okay, how about you, like, I don't know, change whatever behaviors that you exhibited that made it so that, like, your wife didn't want to stay with you even though you had kids.
And I can't be clear on that enough. Or their mother through the mud. And to anyone who tries it, I'm no longer going to pacify, capitulate, or sidestep because I love them a whole lot more than I love you.
Here's what Candace Owens' claim was, or Candace Owens' response was to Stephen Jebediah Crowder's claims about how she's like utilizing this divorce.
That's it. That's the big scary story. I then went onto my platform and I said, pray for Stephen Crowder, honestly, because that's what he needs. He needs a prayer.
Okay, let's be real. You hit him with a bless your heart. Like that wasn't a genuine prayer. That was like a you piece of shit type beat. Okay, come on.
And apparently nobody's answering those prayers right now because he's still acting erratic. He's now upping the ante and suggesting that I extorted him. I will not take that lightly. Okay, I am not Hilary Crowder. I am not anybody in his family. I am not going to take somebody going onto his platform and alleging that I either harassed, threatened, or did anything that would put his children at risk. That is very serious stuff that he is saying. And so what I did this morning after this clip was sent to me is I contacted a defamation lawyer, and I am sending Stephen Crowder a cease and desist, and I'm going to demand a full-throated retraction to the idea that Candace Owens threatened him or extorted him, and not that I simply did a little math. 1 + 1 = 2.
Interesting. Stephen Crowder, I'm getting reports that Stephen Crowder tweeted this while they were in the process of divorce. Very interesting that he tweeted this during the divorce proceedings.
Crazy man doing these sorts of things to his friends obviously means that something is going on personally. Honestly, this time I'm not even going to suggest anybody should pray for him. I am so deeply troubled by the idea.
My wife, unfortunately, is legally allowed to leave the mug club at any time. Oh my God, that's devastating. My wife is leaving me. Change her mind. Oh my God. I just wish women understood how much men love them and want them to be the women they were designed to be. Oh, that one. Oh, brother, that one's bad. Stop bullying this nice gay Canadian man. Amazingly transparent about his divorced dad rage. If men have no say on abortion, women have no say on child support and alimony. Fair compromise? Look at all these like Twitter blue recipients, by the way. Oh my God, every top reply is like littered with some of the worst freaks. I swear to God. They're all like, yeah, this is true, Steven. They ain't gonna like that, cuz. Like, oh my God, shut up. He was tweeting this from his kid's room. No, man, he was tweeting this from the couch that he was sleeping on in the garage. Okay. Oh no. Look at this one. Oh no. Stephen Crowder was like basically masking his personal feelings about his like ongoing divorce while like cutting it like, you know, commentary. You know what I mean? Like he was just like literally just, this was like, Deborah, please watch this. Deborah, I hope you're listening. You know what I mean?
He even sent me a retrospectively very flirty message thereafter on Instagram about how nice I looked on election night, even though I didn't respond to it. I found Hilary Crowder's Instagram account, and I looked to see, and it turned out that she didn't follow Stephen Crowder, and that Stephen Crowder didn't follow her. He didn't follow anybody in her family, and she wasn't following anybody in his family. That was my aha moment. Clearly, there were some.
Oh my God, this is literally how like stans behave, by the way. She did the psychotic Redditor technique. Wild.
And I am sending Stephen Crowder a cease and desist, and I'm going to demand a full-throated retraction to the idea that Candace Owens threatened him or extorted him. And not, it seems to me, Stephen, that you really, for whatever reason, want to insert me into this narrative. Like there is just something about me that you are hyper-focused on. And so I want to help you a bit. And
she's such a scumbag, but like in this situation, she's fighting against another scumbag. So it's awesome. Yeah, let him fight.
Really, I want to help your wife because you essentially just used your platform. Millions of people have access to your platform. She doesn't have the same to insult her. You picked the wrong woman. Okay. So here's what I would like to do. I would like to invite Hilary Crowder onto my platform because she doesn't have one. And because her ex-husband apparently just used his to insult her, to say that he picked the wrong woman. I find that to be really despicable. So Hilary Crowder, if you are watching, you are more than welcome to come on my show and to talk about what's actually going on.
Wow.
Let them fight.
Literally, I mean, straight up.